Language is one of the most powerful tools humans develop, but it doesn't appear all at once. Jean Piaget argued that language grows out of cognition. The way children think determines the way they can speak. Hi, I'm Makrina, and today I'll explain his stages of cognitive development and also analyze what they mean for language acquisition and where his theory might not tell the whole story. Jean Piaget was a Swiss psychologist whose work transformed how we understand children's thinking. He believed children are not just mini adults but active learners who construct knowledge in stages. His theory of cognitive development, they are sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, and formal operational, shows how thought evolves from simple sensory exploration to abstract reasoning. The first stage is sensory motor. This happens between the age of 0 to 2 years. In the sensory motor stage, infants learn through their senses and actions. They don't yet have mental representations, but they gradually develop object permanence. For language, this means they can begin attaching sounds to stable objects. Babbling turns into first words like mama and papa. According to Piaget, it is right that cognitive sets the flows for language. Without the concept of permanence, naming is meaningless. But research also shows infants are sensitive to speech patterns even before object permanence develops, suggesting that language and cognition may develop in parallel, not strictly one after the other. The second stage is pre operational, that is from 2 years to 7 years. Here, symbolic thought emerges. Children can now use words as symbols for objects and ideas. Vocabulary grows rapidly and sentences become larger than their first 2 years. But their thinking is still egocentric. This shows up in language. They talk to themselves while playing, they assume others know what they know, and they overgeneralize grammar laws. Piaget highlights the limits of logic here, but what's fascinating is that these so called errors in speech actually reveal deep cognitive work. Overgeneralization shows children are not just imitating adults, they are actively constructing roles. This supports Piaget's idea of the child as a little scientist, but also aligns with Chomsky's claim of an innate grammar system. The third stage is concrete operational. This happens between the age of 7 to 11 years. In the stage, the children start thinking logically about real, tangible situations. They can follow rules of grammar and also tell coherent stories and understand cause and effect in conversation. Here he emphasizes on logic and explains why children at this stage can finally grasp complex sentence structures, but his theory underplays the role of societal interaction. Vyotsky, for example, argues that dialogue with peers, family, adults is just as crucial as internal logic. So, while Piaget explains what children can do, he may not fully explain how they get there. And the fourth stage is formal operational. This happens after 12 years. Now, these children are adolescents and they can think abstractly, reason hypothetically, and debate moral or philosophical questions. Language reflects this leap. They can use metaphor, irony, and complex argumentation. Piaget's framework captures the link between abstract thought and abstract action.
Singapore may just be the most beautiful city I have ever seen. I can tell you, my city doesn't look like that.
Not all adolescents reach this stage fully, and cultural context really matters. So, for example, in some societies, they emphasize practical reasoning over abstract debate, which shapes the kind of language skills that develop. And also, Piaget does not take the whole cultural differences into account. So, what does this mean for language acquisition? Piaget shows us that language is scaffolded by cognition. We cannot expect abstract speech without abstract thought, but his theory is too rigid. Evidence suggests language and cognition influence each other in a more dynamic, two-way process, and social interaction, something Piaget downplays, is often the spark that pushes children to expand their language beyond their current cognitive stage. Piaget stages sensorimotor, pre-operational, concrete operational, and formal operational don't just describe how children think, they also set the boundaries of what they can say. But when we analyze this theory critically, we see that language is not only a reflection of thought, it's also a force that shapes thoughts. This tension between cognition and communication is what makes studying language acquisition so fascinating. Thank you.